Not A or B implies not A and not B, right? Which makes sense to me, right? If you know that not A or B is true, then neither of them is true, so we can prove that not A, right? So what we're going to do is every single predicate logic proof, if you're doing something like this, we know, because it's got the implies, our last line is going to be a CP, right? Where we're going to, so we need to get from the start with our premise at the start to the end so that we can conclude this thing. So my premise, you always want to write down your premise at first, not A or B, right, is my premise. Now, most of the time, with most of the proofs we've been doing, I have given you a some sort of a premise that has a bunch of ands in it, and you can simplify it, and you can mess with it, and do all sorts of good stuff, right? But not here. Okay? And if I'm asking you to, so what I will ask you to do for this proof is do it just using the basic proof rules, not using the equivalences, not using the additional ones, just the basic proof rules right at the top of that one sheet. So you get here and then you look and you say, oh crud, what do I do? Okay? And when you get to the oh crud, what do I do? You think, I wonder if I have to do a subproof. And when you think, I wonder if I have to do a subproof, right? The first thing that you think is, okay, can I do a CP subproof or an IP subproof, right? And if it's a CP subproof, well, then thered have to be an arrow in this piece, right? And there is no arrow in this piece, so I guess it's going to have to be an IP subproof. Right? And when you're doing an IP subproof, you look at this thing and you say, well, I'm going to have to pick not of something, right? And now, if I had tons of time, I would do this on scrap paper, but I don't have tons of time. I would say, I guess I could pick not of this and see if I could get anything, right? Not of this whole thing. But I'm not sure that's going to get us anywhere. On the other hand, maybe, what if I did, since that's an and, right? If I could prove not A and I could prove not B, then I'm golden because I can just use, what's the rule to combine two things? Look at your piece of paper. Conjunction, right? Conjunction, yeah. Correct abbreviation, wrong name, but yeah, okay, that's good, that's fine. So I think somebody said the same thing this morning. All right, so I'm going to try and do a subproof that proves not A. All right, so if I want to do a subproof that proves not A, and I'm doing it by contradiction, what do I have to assume is my premise? Not A, right? So I'm going to indent, and I'm going to say not A is my premise, and I'll make a little note that says this is for not A by IP, right? So, and the stuff in the braces is just heads up. I'm about to try and get to not A by IP, right? Okay, so I've got not A, right? If I have not something, I might as well do double negation, right? So I'm going to say, well, that is A, which is line 2 and double negation, right? Now you got to look and you got to say, can I do anything here? I got to find a contradiction, right? I got to have something and the not of it, right? And the only thing I have up here is this A, not A or B. So I need to kind of come up with an A or B to contradict it. Can I go from A to A or B somehow? You bet. Right? I could say A or B, right? Based on line 3 and what rule? The addition rule, right? Because if I know A, then I know A or B is true. Question or stretch? Stretch. Okay. All right. So I know A or B by line 3 and addition. Aha, but look, I have A or B and I have not A or B. So I can conclude false, right? By lines 1, 4, right? And contradiction, I think is what it's called, right? Yes? Somebody look at a sheet and tell me I'm right. Okay. So since we have that, I can outdent and I can say, okay, well, therefore I proved not A, right? Based on, well, now we've got to, kind of take this stuff out of scope, right? So we're saying, all right, well, I can't use lines 2 to 5 anymore, right? And that's by IP. So now we know not A, but we still got to get not B, right? So we'll do the same thing again. Yeah. So let's go over to this other board. We'll continue the proof, and I'm going to indent again, and you got to bear with me that this is going to be an indent. So let's assume not B, which will be a premise for not B, right? And I'm going to board a bit. Yeah, question.
Could you have just proven the whole thing by saying by contraposition?
Show me. Which rule?
Contraposition instead of contradiction.
Show me the contraposition rule. Are we talking, is that one of the derived rules?
It might be.
Yeah, no, I don't know the contraposition rule. Help me, let's see. Not by the rules we've got.
Okay.
Yeah? Contrapositive. Maybe. Not by the rules we've got.
Okay.
Yeah? So we can breeze through this, right? It's exactly the same proof. Right? So we say line 8, well, line 8 is B based on line 7 and double negation. And line 9, we can say that is actually A or B based on line 8 and what's the rule? Addition, right? And so 10 we can say is false based on lines 1 and 9 and contradiction, right? Which means 11 we can conclude, we outdent and we say not B based on 7 to 10, right? And IP, right? We are not done our proof yet, right? What were we trying to prove? The right-hand side that we need to get to before we can do our CP is not A and not B, right? But we've got enough information to do that now, right? Because line 12 can be not A and not B. How come I can do line 12? Yeah, I'm going to say it's based on line 6 and 11 in conjunction, right? And now we can say not A or B implies not A and not B, and that whole thing. Now we got to be careful because there's a bunch of lines that for us computer types we say just went out of scope, right? So we use line 1, none of that stuff, right? But we did use line 6, right? And lines 11 to 12 and CP, right? And the book would have just written QED, yeah.